So this is a 2005 Yamaha Blaster 200cc. I figured I'd make a quick review on one of these things because they're actually pretty cool and they're great quads. They really are, but yeah, I'll jump into it. So this is a 200cc, like I said. It's a 6-speed manual transmission with a clutch. It does not have reverse or electric start, anything like that. It's just a kick start. It is a 2-stroke, so for being a 2-stroke, it's actually really nice though. It's just a little 200cc. This is actually a big bore. I bored it up. I was actually inside this whole engine. Actually, I did a top end rebuild, the big bore kit, and then I had to put a new crank in it too. So new crank seals and bearings. I did not touch the transmission bearings, but you know, I had to split the cases and everything. I also put a new clutch on it. That was fun. Honestly, it wasn't bad though. Doing this whole thing was actually pretty easy. For being a 2-stroke, like, I mean, it's super easy. I mean, 2-strokes are already pretty easy, you know, for the top end, but I will say this was really easy to tear apart. I think, honestly, anyone can do it. If you just pay attention and, you know, look at diagrams and stuff, you'll be fine. But yeah, I'd say, you know, it's air cooled, so you don't have to worry about any liquid cooling. You know, no coolant, no radiator to deal with. And this thing, the thing I love about it is it's so opened. You can see, I mean, the whole front end's pretty open, but again, this is a really tiny quad. This thing is not big. Like, it's pretty small. I mean, you can lift it up super easy. I don't know how much these weigh, but like an LTZ 400 probably weighs about 400 pounds, something like that. So this thing, I want to say like 350 at the heaviest, but I guarantee it's not even that. It's probably like 320 or lighter. But they're really light machines, pretty reliable. I know these things do have oil injection from the factory. They have what people call tours, which I think is that carb thing. This thing on top of the carb there. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But again, this isn't my machine. This is just one I wanted to review and talk about. But I do know, like, someone, the owner of this actually deleted this. The kit on here, they put a little delete kit on here. There's normally a little cover that goes on here. So this one, I just mixed the gas and the oil in it. And it runs really good. I'd definitely delete that. These just cause problems. It's not worth it. And then the oil tank, usually, I'm pretty sure it sits on this side or something like that. Yeah, cause the lid, the cap usually goes right up in that hole. But yeah, so if you do have one of these, I'd definitely recommend deleting the oil injection system. It's just not worth the hassle. Just mix it, because those things can go bad, and then boom, there goes your top end, your bottom end. It's just not worth it. It was 500 bucks. It was over 500 bucks for me to do a top end with a new crank, and then a bunch of other stuff. It'll add up really quick. Thank God this is one of the cheaper builds. But yeah, this thing's pretty nice. It rides decent. Shocks are decent. I mean, they're nothing crazy. They're just standard, like, trail shocks. This one has nice Nerf bars on it, but I don't know how I feel about them. These ones stick out past the wheels, which I'm not a big fan of that, but it's not terrible. And then this also has an FMF silencer on it. It's very nice, power core. And then it has an FMF pipe, Gold Series pipe, which is pretty nice. And then this thing also has these levers on it, which this is something that someone put on. You know, these are aftermarket. This is not what the quad comes with. This quad is not entirely stock, so keep that in mind. It's not like It's not completely stock. They do have taillights on them. This one, the person took the taillight off. This one does have the headlight on the front, so you can see what they look like. And also the plastics on these fender pieces actually just bolt right off. You want to do that bolt, and this piece right here actually just comes right off. So this hood piece, that's its own piece. So you can take those off. You don't have to cut them. Like, people always cut the fenders off for some reason. And then, yeah, your gas tank cover, that can come off super easy. Seat pops right off. You can take the rear plastic off pretty easy. It's not a bad little machine, but I'll go ahead and fire it up. Your fuel petcock's right there. It's just right down here. It is a kickstart. This thing is also, the parking brake was deleted. This is a parking brake cable, but half the time the parking brake on these quads never work, so I don't even bother with it. Keys right here. But yeah, give her a kick. Fires right up. Turn the light on. This does have a Tusk front bumper on it. Looks pretty nice. Front brakes on this. I'm gonna shut it off. You can see it runs very nice. The front brakes on this are disc, and so are the rear. I want to let you know that, because the older Blasters, I'm not sure what year they changed them. It was like, I want to say it was the early 2000s sometime. They changed the design of the Blasters to these new ones, and these ones are 1,000 times better because they have drum or disc brakes front and rear. The old ones have drum brakes front and rear. I know the rear for sure, but the front, I don't know. I want to say the fronts were drums, which are terrible. All those old Blasters, most of them, you're riding them and they do not have brakes. But this one, the brakes actually do work. So I just want to let you know that and keep that in mind if you're shopping for one of these. But start it back up. Runs very nice. I'm gonna take it for a little drive here. This is first gear, second. This is fourth, but this thing will get up and go. But it's not a bad little quad, nothing crazy. Definitely a good choice for kids. Just keep in mind, this is not a full-size quad. This is more for kids that are in that in-between stage of getting a full size, like a 400, but you don't quite want to do that, but they've outgrown their little 90. This is a perfect upgrade. That or like the Raptor 250 isn't a bad option, but if you want a two-stroke, this is your pick right here. They're cheap. Usually these are around $1,500 running and driving. I wouldn't pay any more than $15 for a nice clean one. $2,000 depending on what it is, but any more than $2,000 is just insane. But usually you can find one needing work for maybe $1,000. All depends. But yeah, these are definitely worth buying if you want something cheap. You know, rebuild kits are fairly cheap, so definitely something to look into. Just keep in mind this does not have reverse and it is kickstart, but it doesn't have a battery, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I definitely recommend a Yamaha Blaster. Very nice quad, inside and out. That's why Yamaha made them for so long. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another machine.